The clerical office of the United Terran Admissions Authority was not meant to decide the fate of civilizations. It was meant to process forms, validate transcripts, and route applicants to institutions that matched their species' gravity tolerance and mortality thresholds. It was meant to be boring, which is precisely why no one noticed when a single drop-down menu flickered. Aria Vale, age 19, human, earthborn, aptitude classification. Unremarkable. That word had followed her through school corridors and aptitude exams alike. She was not the fastest runner, not the strongest lifter, not the most gifted mathematician. She smiled too easily, laughed at the wrong moments, and treated danger like an abstract concept meant for other people. Her application was supposed to route her to a mid-tier interspecies academy, administration, diplomacy, or xenolinguistics. Something safe, something survivable. Instead, the system stamped a glowing crimson seal across her file. Enrolled, Black Orbit Academy, the galaxy's deadliest academy. No human had ever graduated from Black Orbit. Most had never survived orientation. The academy floated in a region of space officially classified as educational neutral territory and unofficially known as the Grave Loop. It trained war commanders, planetary pacifiers, void tacticians, and species whose biology alone qualified as a weapon. Admission was a badge of terror and prestige. When Aria received the notification, she reread it 3 times. "Oh," she said softly, then smiled. "They've made a mistake." Her mother screamed. Her father went very quiet. The appeal process was initiated within minutes, flagged urgent, tagged with 17 warnings. But appeals took time. Black Orbit did not wait. A courier ship arrived within 48 hours, its hull etched with kill tallies instead of serial numbers. The envoy, a 6-limbed Karax officer with eyes like fractured glass, reviewed Aria once, then nodded. Human candidate confirmed. It said, survival probability, 3.2%. Aria extended her hand. "Nice to meet you." The officer hesitated. No one had ever offered a greeting. The ship launched before the appeal could be reviewed. As Earth shrank into a paled, Aria pressed her forehead to the viewport. Fear fluttered at the edges of her thoughts, but it did not take root. Instead, something else stirred: curiosity, challenge, a quiet, stubborn refusal to believe the universe had already decided how her story would end. When Black Orbit Academy came into view, even the stars seemed to recoil. The structure was a ringed citadel of dark alloys, its surface scarred by weapons testing and impact craters. Defense platforms orbited like predatory moons. Incoming students watched in silence. Some trembled, some sharpened claws. Aria smiled, buckled herself in, and whispered, "Okay, let's see what all the fuss is about." Orientation at Black Orbit Academy was not held in an auditorium. It was held in an arena. New cadets were released onto a segmented combat field with shifting gravity, hostile terrain, and automated kill drones calibrated just below lethal thresholds. For most species, for humans, the margin was optimistic. The announcement echoed through the arena. Objective: survive for 1 hour. Collaboration permitted. Failure recorded. The gates opened. Chaos followed. Creatures of chitin and scale charged immediately, instincts honed by evolutionary war. Energy blasts tore across the field. Gravity inverted without warning, hurling bodies into the air or slamming them into the ground. Aria was knocked flat within seconds. A towering Brackle cadet loomed over her, mandibles flexing. It raised a claw. Aria rolled aside, grabbed a loose fragment of plating, and jammed it into a joint gap. Not with strength, but with timing. The Brackle shrieked and collapsed, systems locking. She stared at her own hands, surprised. "Oh," she murmured. "That worked." She didn't fight like the others. She watched. She adapted. When gravity spiked, she flattened herself instead of resisting. When drones targeted heat signatures, she dragged herself through coolant runoff. When stronger cadets clashed, she slipped through the gaps they created. Instructors observing from above began to lean forward. Human is not engaging directly. One noted. She's conserving energy. Another replied slowly. And learning. By the 40-minute mark, alliances had shattered. The field was littered with incapacitated cadets. Arya was still moving. A Virex assassin species attempted to ambush her, optical camouflage flawless. She stopped suddenly, tilted her head, and spoke. "You're breathing too loud." The Virex froze. She threw dust. The hour ended with only 7 cadets standing. One of them was human. The arena lights dimmed. A voice boomed. Orientation complete. Casualty rate acceptable. Arya collapsed onto her back, laughing breathlessly. "Wow," she said to no one in particular. "You guys are intense." Word spread fast. The human hadn't won. She had survived. And in Black Orbit Academy, survival was the first language of respect. Classes at Black Orbit were designed to break certainties. Tactical theory involved live simulations where mistakes resulted in real pain. Ethics courses presented impossible scenarios with no correct answers, only consequences. Biology labs dissected not corpses, but active regenerative organisms. Arya struggled. She failed strength benchmarks. Her reaction times were average. Her physiology required environmental compensation. Yet something strange happened. She kept passing. In void navigation, where cadets piloted craft through debris storms, Arya plotted routes no one else considered, using debris as cover, letting momentum do the work. In strategy conflict, she lost every mock duel but won the war by predicting opponents' egos. "You fight like you expect to lose," sneered a Phyrexian warborn. Arya shrugged. "I planned like I might." Instructors began assigning her to mixed-species teams. Performance improved. Casualties dropped. She listened when others spoke. She noticed when someone was afraid. She asked questions no one else bothered with about logistics, morale, sustainability. During a live-fire exercise gone wrong, containment failed on a plasma node. Panic erupted. Arya rerouted evacuation paths manually, guiding cadets with a calm voice over emergency comms. Afterward, an instructor confronted her. "You violated protocol." "Yes, sir." "You saved 42 lives." "Yes, sir." A pause. "Don't do it again without clearance." Arya smiled faintly. "I'll try." By midterm, something else had changed. The other cadets no longer called her human. They called her commander. The final evaluation was not a test. It was a war. An external threat, classified, unsimulated, breached the neutral zone. The academy was forced into lockdown. Senior cadets were deployed to hold defensive sectors. Arya's team was assigned a corridor expected to fall. She studied the data, then shook her head. "They're thinking like predators," she said. "We need to think like survivors." She reconfigured defenses, created false retreats, seeded hope where despair would spread. When the enemy advanced, they met not brute resistance, but exhaustion, misdirection, and relentless pressure. Hours later, reinforcements arrived. The line held. Afterward, the command council reviewed the recordings in silence. A clerical officer cleared their throat. "There appears to have been an administrative error." The academy head turned. "No," they said slowly. "There was a correction." Arya Vale graduated, the first human to do so. When asked how it felt to survive the deadliest academy in the galaxy, she smiled, the same gentle, unassuming smile. "I thought it was a mistake," she said. "Turns out, I was exactly where I needed to be."